Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers in London. It's my pleasure today to review a book from Globe Law. Globe Law are a special publishers, very high quality books, extremely helpful books for everybody involved in the management of law firms and where we're going at the moment legally in a very, very diverse marketplace for legal services. Now, the book that we've got today we're reviewing is Building an Outstanding Legal Team, Battle-Tested Strategies from a General Counsel. And it's been written by Bjarne P Tellmann, who I was very pleased to meet at the launch of this book at Wilder's some time ago. It was in the summer. I'm recording this now in the autumn, month or so after he came, and we discussed the book, and he was a very engaging chap, Mr. Tellmann. Now, Globe Law and Business are well known to everybody for producing these high-end books for, I think, not just specific substantive law areas, but also for legal management purposes. And this is really looking ahead a bit, because my question to Bjarne was, how does his view equate to that of, say, someone like Professor Richard Susskind and the End of Lawyers? And they're not diametrically opposite each other, but what they are doing is looking at it in a different way, because we are about to enter, and I've said it in many of the reviews I've done, we're entering the fourth industrial revolution, which means, I'm afraid, a lot of job losses. It means a very big change in the way we do our business. Probably too late for me, because I'm getting a bit past it and a bit old, but I'm interested in watching it now more from the sidelines as we see the new technologies come in, and my word, they are wonderful. Now, Elizabeth and I gave this title for our book review the following: Leading a Legal Team. This book can help you build a better one. Well, let's look at the book first. There it is there. The front of the book. Then there's the spine, a lot of detail there. And then on the back, you've got some quotes and various other things. I'll mention a bit about the quotes. That's the general blurb on the back. It's a hardback, this one, white cover. Little building blocks, you see, rather good that, eh? Now, on the back of the book, there is a useful index. Not a particularly big index. It's by page numbering, so depending on what you're looking for, you should be able to find things, including people's names. There's the index there. Very much the house style of Globe Law. Further reference material, again, things that we do get today, podcasts and so forth. Very much aware that many people of the newer generations coming up are much happier to have these visual presentations of reviews, because that goes well with the written word, and it is very much a part of modern communication. And we've got a very nice little note from Bjarne to us, thanking me for doing this review, and I'm delighted to do so. There's his dedication, which I always like to mention and show to people. And then we've got the actual book itself. You can see the beginning of it there, the introduction. Then there's a table of contents with some acknowledgements and all the various points that he sets out, hardware and so forth. And he has a conclusion at the back. Then you have a foreword, which again is very useful to get an idea of where we're going at the moment, written by Iriel Finnan. There we go, you can see the information there. Then acknowledgements, all of a huge amount of work that's gone into this by Bjarne. I got your name right. Either it's Bjarne or John. I really do have a problem with the pronunciation, so I do apologise. I see your middle name is Philip, like mine, so perhaps I ought to call you Philip. Now, anyway, there's some detail about the author. Let's see the way around that one. Part A, setting the scene, and so on, and then the book runs through. You see there are some diagrams and various other things. Selecting the right partners. Remember, we're talking about teamwork here, strategic partnerships, and so on. Altogether, I thought a very impressive book and an important book for the the beginning probably of the 2020s, because we are now looking ahead at what is going to happen. So the question is, if you manage a legal firm, either in-house or within a law firm going for growth, you need Tellmann's new book. The most recent and certainly celebrated title from Globe Law and Business And as I say, it was actually launched at Wildy's in the summer of 2017. Now, the name of the publishers is curiously appropriate here because the book is as much about business as it is about law. Remember, it's global law primarily, but they do business, and this is very much a legal business commentary, if you like. Taking a business-like approach, then, it's written from a global perspective by an author who, in addition to his impressive academic credentials, offers readers the benefit of his experience running legal teams in multinational companies. But this is more than a mere how-to book. It's of a much higher order, dealing as it does with strategy, communication, integration of disparate skills, cost efficiencies, new technologies, and much, much more. Now, Bjarne is an author who can certainly produce nimble, varied, often refreshingly original solutions to the challenges legal teams encounter in a global business environment where change is the only constant. That's where we are at the moment, of course. Referring to the book's subtitle, Battle-Tested Strategies, they aren't produced by sudden magical light bulb moments. They obviously emanate from the author's international experience as an academic and as general counsel for some of the world's largest multinationals, notably Coca-Cola, Kimberly-Clark. And in his current role, he leads a 170-strong team as general counsel and chief legal officer at Pearson plc, which is a FTSE 100 company with 30,000 employees in 70 countries. Big stuff. It's not like little me here running my chambers and doing it really on a rather less substantial basis. However, what do you get out of it? That's the question, and we get a lot of information from what Tellmann's experienced and the way he perceived things, and that's really the benefit of this book. So when does someone like this get the time to write a book like this, and why? Apparently the germ of the idea came to him when a talented colleague of his was struggling with a new and demanding leadership role and asked the question, is there a manual that will help me do this job? Well, I've heard that question before by quite a lot of people over the decades I've been a manager myself and as a barrister, so I'm interested to know what the answer is, because what was needed then and what most of us who aspire to leadership positions now need is the following: plain, practical advice on such matters as handling multiple crises, cutting costs, big one of course, managing risk, handling difficult clients, which we know all about as counsel, and generally coping with change brought about by, in the author's words, globalization, regulatory expansion, and risk convergence. These factors, he adds, have raised the stakes and made the job more complex. Exactly so, and I don't see it getting simpler. I would suggest, if anything, it will get more complex. But we have to call it in at some day, although I don't think the tax officials in the United Kingdom have ever done so. They seem to just make it far more complicated every year. But that's down really to the House of Commons and the finance bills, so we can at least blame them in the Westminster Palace for that. Now, lawyers, say Tellmann, must cultivate an understanding of client needs and a passion for the businesses with which such clients are involved. It's no longer enough, he warns, to sit behind a desk in an ivory tower and dispense legal advice. Doing that is a surefire way to become a corporate dinosaur, and we saw plenty of those in the latest round of conferences from the political parties in the autumn of 2017. And they're still there, and they're going to remain there. It doesn't matter what we do, but we've got to be aware of it. Now, it's precisely to avoid such a dismally Jurassic fate that you should have a read of this book, in our view, whether you work in-house or within a law firm. You'll find much in common with them, and much of the comment, by the way, on the linkages and overlap between the in-house legal teams and their outside legal advisors, because it is a two-way street. And of course, the internal people have a structure. The external people don't have the same reporting structures and all the other things, which is, of course, the benefits of being a member of the independent bar, because I don't have a boss at the end of the day. I suppose the only boss I've got is the bank manager when I don't get paid. However, you'll find the comment, I think, very helpful. And do have a look at the chapter here on selecting the right partners, because that, again, is a management decision and it's a tool. And in building an outstanding legal team, personnel issues are paramount, and these, of course, are extensively discussed. And I always remember my brother saying, he worked for very large companies, that actually the personnel guys, whatever you want to call them, human resources, they are the key to the success of many a business, because you have to have and retain the right people. And that's really it's common sense, but it's part of the issue. So whether you work in a legal environment or not, and whether you're in management or a supporting role, there's indeed a manual out there which should help you do your job even better. And Tellmann has written it, fortunately, in a down-to-earth, accessible style. So we think you should read it. As his engaging personality, which certainly came across when he was doing the book launch, and the infectious support that he has for building these strategies, certainly does shine through so well with this text he's produced. The publication date is cited at the summer of 2017. Let's have a quick look at it again. There it is, hardback, spine, and then on the back you've got some quotes, various other bits and pieces there. There's a quote at the bottom, which you can probably see. Just opening it in the middle, we've got some technology, autonomy and replacement. There we go. In other words, what are we going to do when the robots take over? In-house technological applications, telecommuting, remote domestic teams, global collaboration. You see, it's all there. And the point is, we've got to talk about these issues now. We can't leave it, because things are going to come upon us much more quickly probably than we imagine. A big thank you to Bjarne anyway, and to everybody at Global Law. Very grateful indeed to all concerned for producing this book, which I think is a first-class statement, and it would be extremely helpful for your business. A big thank you to all. Bye-bye.